Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the July 2025 Orange Board of Selectmen's meeting. In the event of an emergency, and you had to exit the building, I think everybody tonight came down the stairway to my right, the audience's left. You could use that stairway. In the event that that was crowded or blocked, you could go straight down the hallway out the back, which would lead you to the side parking lot by the fire department, or you could go up the stairs behind the wall with the clock on it, through the double doors and out the front door, and that will put you out on the Orange Center Road side of the town hall. With that said, please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I do think I have this chair overloaded in. It's groaning. Okay, we'll start on my right tonight down there with introductions.
PJ Shanley.
Judy Smith.
Ann Denny, Secretary to the Board.
John Carangelo. Bill Kraut. Mitch Goldblatt.
Okay, now that everybody knows everybody, that's all perfect. Public participation. Public participation is for any item that is not an agenda item, and we allow 2 minutes per speaker. Yes, you have to come up front and you know the routine.
Yep, we're on. Hello, my name is Justin Kidder, 936 Green Circle in Orange. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. I'm here because something happened at our town fireworks over the weekend that demands a response. While families were gathered to celebrate our country and our community, at least one individual was distributing flyers for novanow.org. If you take even a moment to look them up, you'll see that they are a neo-Nazi organization promoting hate, conspiracy theories, and white supremacist ideology. They deliberately targeted a family-friendly event to spread fear and division in our town. Let me be clear, this is not about politics or differing opinions. This is about extremism, plain and simple. When groups like this operate in the open and go unchallenged, they interpret our silence as acceptance. That's how hatred becomes normalized. I'm asking the board to show leadership by issuing a clear, unequivocal public statement condemning the distribution of these materials. We need to affirm that Orange is a community that stands united against hate, bigotry, and any attempt to intimidate our neighbors. Now, I understand constitutionally protected speech. I know there's nothing we can legally do to stop them, but this isn't about restricting free speech. It's about defending the values that we all share: respect, safety, and dignity for every person who calls this town home. If we say nothing, we send a message to the most vulnerable members of our community that they're on their own. We also invite these extremists to come back again and again. I urge you, as the board, not to let that happen. A public statement will make clear that Orange rejects hate in all of its forms and will not be used as a platform for extremist recruitment. It'll show that this board is committed to protecting the character of our community. Thank you for your time and considering this request. I do have a copy of the materials here if you'd like to see. There we go.
Yeah, I'll have it for the record that way.
Yep, absolutely. That's for you. And that's it. Thank you very much.
All right. Anybody else?
I know, I need a trim. Hello. Sean Hartshorn, 24 Woodside Drive. I sent a letter to the board, actually just to Jim, and I hope he would distribute that.
It was distributed.
Okay,
to all
hopefully everyone
members.
read it. I don't need to read it again. Okay, great, thank you. I just wanted to follow up, and just hope you guys got that, and point out one of the final lines in it that, you guys have the final say in this matter. I don't know what the solution is. What's done for one neighborhood does not necessarily have to be done for another. If anyone would like the data that I had collected with Lieutenant Ray LaPlante, I'd be more than happy to email it. I was going to print it out and hand it to you guys, but as you guys know, I sit on a board as well, and when things get printed out and handed over, They tend to end up in the trash. So if you'd want it, let me know, and I will happily send it over to you.
If you send it to me, I'll distribute it.
I will do
You
such.
can do that.
And that's all. I just wanted to follow up and thank you all for your service. You guys know I appreciate you, and we will see you all in passing soon. Thank you.
I don't think Sean actually said what it is, so I will for the TV audience and audience in the room. Sean lives on Woodside Drive, which has been a cut-through forever between Racebrook, headed over towards 34, towards the junior high. And the buses and all have been curbed from going through there, but there's still a lot of traffic through there, but he's not complaining about the traffic in his email. It was about the speed through there, which was the concern. And he did send an email which was distributed to the board, and if he sends the other data, I'll distribute that by way of email also. If anybody out there would like it, just message us and we'll be glad to distribute it to you as well. Oh, years ago. There's still a few go through there, but not like it used to be. Is there anybody else for public participation? Yes.
Erica Higgins, 303 Drummond Road in Orange. Good evening, members of the board, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Tonight, I want to address a recent event in our town that, while painful, presents a powerful opportunity for leadership. For the first time, the pride flag was raised in Orange, a meaningful symbol of inclusion to support all people, including our LGBTQ residents, families, and youth. Unfortunately, the flag was soon stolen. Alongside this act, there have been derogatory remarks made publicly and privately, revealing not just the misunderstanding of the flag's meaning, but also a deeper need for education for all and unity for our community. The pride flag is not a political statement at all. It is not divisive. It's a symbol of life, healing, and human dignity. Each color represents something we all value. Red for life, orange for healing, yellow for sunlight, green for nature, blue for harmony, and purple for spirit. It also includes black and brown stripes to honor LGBTQ and people of color. And the pink, white, and blue represent transgender individuals. There's such a lack of education regarding this flag. This flag simply says, you are seen, you are safe, and you are welcome here. In a town of 14,000 people where every voice should matter, symbols like this carry deep significance. The theft of the pride flag wasn't just a crime, it was a message. And now it's time for our leaders, all of you, to send a message back. I respectfully ask that this board take a public stand to denounce the theft and the derogatory responses that have followed, and to affirm that this town does not tolerate hate or exclusion of any kind. This is not about politics. It's about people. It's about our neighbors, our students, our friends, and our families. By speaking out, you show that every resident, especially those who have felt marginalized, that they matter. Leadership is not about policy, it's also about principle, and all of you should carry principle. At this moment, I believe our town is looking to its leaders, not just for action, but for moral clarity. Thank you for your time, your service, and for your willingness to help ensure that Orange continues to be a place where everyone belongs. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Tom Paisano, 523 Fairway Road, Orange, Connecticut. Two things. One, I'd like to thank whoever put in the paved road at Fred Wolf Park. We'll find a way to slow people down on it, because now they can enter very quickly. So anyway, thank you. I don't know where we got the funds for that, but thank you for doing that. All the players have appreciated it. One thing, these two guys have been going to a committee meeting about Fred Wolf Park improvements, and they've been hearing a lot of complaints about issues, but they're not in charge of the maintenance of that park. Their charge is to design a future design for the place. So the only thing I'd like to say today is we really would need a culture change at some point to maintain everything at that park and to find out who's in charge of what. I'm in charge apparently of the soccer field sod, because I'm out there working with my hands. Bill Sperry years ago told me, if you want anything done in this town, the town gave you two hands, and that's how the agricultural fair did it, and that's how the baseball fields were done. And I date back to 40 years and saw it all. So we'll probably need a cultural change at some point with our master plan to make sure that somebody takes care of all that. But anyway, thank you for the work that's being done there. I was there tonight. There's got to be 200 people there, and the goals are all locked up. So it's being used. Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Seeing none in the audience at the table. Mitchell.
Thank you, Jim. I want to thank those who came up to speak already tonight. I've prepared a statement as well. I'll read it from the table. 1 month ago, this board was presented with a pride flag and asked to fly it in the town to show that this town believes in inclusion. I want to thank First Selectman Zioli for raising this flag at the High Plains Fairgrounds, where it flew for just a few days before it mysteriously disappeared. Last week, the town celebrated our country's 249th birthday with our annual concert and fireworks. Our small town includes over a dozen places of worship. Our school system consists of a student body that speaks 24 languages. We have always welcomed everyone to these festivities, regardless of where they were born, where they currently live, where they worship, or who they love. Yet, during these festivities, someone distributed a card to certain individuals, looking to have them join them in their exclusive group. I don't mind that people peacefully leaflet at a town event, and everyone has the right to do so. Yet when such a campaign is one that promotes white supremacy, divisiveness, and hate, I believe that it is important to call that there is no place in Orange for such a group. Hate has no home here. Perhaps we can't stop some people from being narrow-minded, bigoted, and full of hate for their fellow neighbors. However, as a board and leaders of this town, we should stand united and condemn the actions that took place this past weekend. We need to be loud and clear that we reject any forms of hate and discrimination in the town of Orange. I am proud to live in an inclusive and welcoming community, and we should do everything in our power to make sure it remains that way. Thank you.
Good, Mitch. Anybody else at the table? Any items? All right, we have a few, but that's obviously the lead item. What some might not know is this wasn't their first entry into Orange. They were here Memorial Day, some people. They were mostly up here in the center of town handing out similar material. I did not see it, and I didn't hear about it until this happening. Man came in my office yesterday and said, oh, we were sitting over in front of the Historical Society, and some guys were handing out paper, and I saw it and crumpled it up and threw it away. Oh, well, that was the first we heard of that. Almost 2 years ago, the election of '23, Kevin Houlihan came and got me. They were out doing their part, and I was there somewhere. And he said, there's a couple guys here handing out cards. They were kind of like a 3x5 postcard size card. That's not something we want here. And I said, what is it? And so I went out and saw these two guys, and they weren't young. They were middle-aged, probably younger than me, but middle-aged. And I said, what are you doing? We have the right to be here under freedom of speech, et cetera, which we've all discussed. And I told them then, I said, you're not wanted here. I said, we don't want this here. This is election day. Somehow you seem to be picking out a day when you know you have a captive audience of people going in to vote and cast their ballot. I said, you're not on the ballot, and you're not appreciated here. I said, I want you to leave. You can't make us leave. We have the right to be here, town property and all. So, of course, thick-headed as I am, I said, no, you are going to leave, whether I carry you out to the curb or we have the police remove you. I said, but you're going to leave. And so we did have the police come. I said, these guys need to be moved to the curb. And, of course, they told me they're going to sue me and all. I said, that's great, but it'll be after Election Day, so no problem. And they did leave. I said, go wherever you want, but you're not welcome here. But that was in '23, and it was two guys, they were probably in their 40s, 50s, and I did ask them to leave then, unbeknownst that they had been again. Now, I was there, some of you may have seen me, I was all over those grounds on Friday. Ann and I both were, setting up people, getting food trucks in place, getting the band, sound, all those different things that had to be handled. And they never got to me, or I never heard about it on Saturday night either. I wish somebody had come and gotten me then. And so we had no hands-on of this item that they were handing out. And then Ann heard from Walnut Beach Creamery. The lady who runs the Walnut Beach Creamery truck sent Ann an email thanking, I think all the food trucks did really, we made sure there were a lot of them, and I think they all did pretty well. But the lady from Walnut Beach Creamery thanked Ann for having her here. And then she told her that she was approached, or one of her people was approached with one of these handouts. So it exists, and it's frustrating because, as I already said, and Justin said, I think Mitch said, we all know that freedom of speech sometimes works in your favor, sometimes works against your favor. So we have to tolerate that part of it, but we do not have to tolerate dislike of any person within our town, whether they be Catholic, Jewish, black, white, gay, straight, whatever title you want to have across the board. The town of Orange has been and always will be, as best as I think this board will say, a friendly and welcoming community. And just Mitch made a statement about how many languages there are. Last time I knew, we had 38 languages in the Elementary Board of Education of different types out there for people who've called Orange home, besides us sitting here that speak, English. And so we are a welcoming community of many, many different types of people from many places around the world and many life choices across this world. But Orange has no room for that type of hate or racism here. I think that that's just not right. I've lived here in my entire life. I'll be 66 in October, and we've never experienced that here, never. And I don't think it's going to start now or any day soon. So I'm sorry for anybody who was offended by that happening, but it is not right.
Jim, let me just expand upon that. I'm thinking about what you just said. Happened in '23, happened on Memorial Day, happened the other day. Our next big event is going to be the carnival. Maybe we could ask Chief Gagné to have the police look out for this type of thing, and if they see anything.
Kind of shuttle them, maybe. You have to be very careful.
Right.
I
I doubt they're going to hand them to police officers, so maybe if people in the community see it, they could bring it to a police officer. And
I didn't even know what this organization was, I'll
I
be
didn't
quite
either.
honest with you. I never heard about it, and I have an intern for the summer who's in the room. So I had him look it up for me, just to understand a little bit more about it. And it pretty much runs along the lines of what Justin described. But I had never heard of them by that name prior to that, So it's very unfortunate, but Orange has never been known for that, and I don't think at this point in time we're going to start any sort of name-calling or titling of people here. So, with that said, all in agreement on that? Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, everybody should be in agreement on that. Okay. Any other comments before only a couple announcements?
Just a question. So has the board agreed to make a public statement to the town denouncing this activity, or is that just for this room?
That would be, this group would have to make that as a public statement.
Yes.
Yes.
So the group plans on doing that?
we will be making a public statement on that, everybody. That's why I just asked, everybody here is in agreement on that. So I can't do it by myself, that's not allowed. The whole group has to agree to that, which they just did. Let's see. So, very simple. Thank you to all those who helped for the concert and fireworks on Friday night. That was the police department, the fire department, the highway department, the park and rec department, the public works department, the custodians, Ann Denny, who did more than you have any idea with food trucks and arrangements for sound, and Chris is in his room, who also works for the sound company and all. That's a huge undertaking. And that was probably the largest crowd I think we've had to date, which we actually thought it was going to be the other way because West Haven was having their fireworks. They had postponed them, and they're the same night as ours, so we thought we were going to be less. No, it was full all the way, fence to fence, road to road this year. That was the biggest crowd that I've seen on our grounds. That was pretty amazing crowd there. And like I said, I think the food people were glad to come. At first, I thought 14 trucks was a lot of different trucks and many options of what you wanted. And I think every single truck did well. So it was a well-received event. So thank you to everybody. Tomorrow and every Thursday until the end of September, with the exception of the week before the fair, and I think the week before the carnival, is the farmer's market up at High Plains under the pavilion and on the grounds from 3:30 to 7. Anne Marie Slyby, through the Orange Economic Development Corporation, is the head of that and oversees that. And she's really done a special job this year. She had a lot of different craft people and different things. There's even I draw a blank on the name. It was Fifth Street, Fifth Avenue, something. But they're a distiller that's based in Bridgeport, and a lot of their product is kind of a gin-based product, but they have some really spectacular blended drinks. Now, I gave up alcohol when I was 28 years old, so you won't see me having it, but there's people there, they do give out little nipper samples, and there's one that some of the ladies were raving about. They thought bee sneeze or bee something. It's a very sweet one with lemonade and honey in it that on the rocks was supposed to be very good, is what I've been told. But they had a whole gamut. And now, I think this week, Soundview Beer Company is going to be there starting this week, and they produce some sort of IPAs or something. They brew up at Black Hog Brewery up in Oxford, but they're based out of Milford. James Maroney is one of the proprietors of that group, and they are also going to be at the farm market. I believe they're starting tomorrow, and you can buy their product there also. So the market has expanded and has evolved quite a little bit more. Last week was brutal. Everybody was starting to pack up about 6 o'clock, and all of a sudden that storm came in, and a little bit of shower was one thing. But the 50-mile-an-hour winds, I was just packing up vegetables. Nate had gone home sick, and all of a sudden you hear it smash, crash, bang, and poor people's crafts and stuff were just flying all over the place. It was pretty intense there for about a half hour, but those things happen. The Fireman's Carnival. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 31st, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Thursday and Friday. 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. with fireworks on Saturday, August 2nd. And 12 noon to 5 p.m. on Sunday, August 3rd. Raffle tickets are available for purchase at the Town Hall and various other locations in town. And for you parents, do not forget to order your wristbands on the OVFD website. It is www.orangevfd.org. It is very important that you order those wristbands in advance. They are not available for purchase on site at the carnival. So that's something to think about. We're a few weeks away from it, but if you think about it, purchase your wristbands so that you know that you have them ahead of time. That's all I have for announcements. Anything else? We had a little confusion. Mitch and I talked about this a little while ago. The recycling truck, the man who does it, who should have picked up, I guess, on Thursday and or Friday, well, it was 4th of July. So Friday was a holiday, and then Saturday he was off, and so they had a fill-in person on it, and he didn't quite know the route very well, so there was part of the town that did not get picked up this week, but you know what? It's the 4th of July holiday. Other people are entitled to take holidays off too. So unfortunately, if your stuff didn't get picked up last week, and they've been trying to accommodate people this week, but just put it out there this week and it'll be fine. Thank you. That's all I have on announcements. Minutes. To consider and act on minutes of the June 10th, 2025 public hearing for the Neighborhood Assistance and regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Any errors, omissions, or corrections? If so, state page and paragraph.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Unanimous. Item number 1 under old business, to consider and act on the request to approve the updated plan of conservation and development being sent for final review by Town Planning and Zoning Commission, Jack Demerjian, Zoning Enforcement Officer. I know Mitch did have a few items on there he sent out, and my biggest concern, there were several, but the biggest one for me was the thought of allowing housing in our commercial district, which would open up housing like along the Post Road, Indian River in the commercial area, even up on Marsh Hill in some of the areas. And when Carol Martin wanted to build her affordable apartment project, which ultimately ended up on Smith Farm Road, she was looking at the site on the Post Road that had been the trailer park, is now Connecticut Orthopedics' new building. And when I met with her, I said, "Oh, Carol, I don't want it there. I don't want it on the Post Road." She says, "You just don't want that kind of people here." I said, "No." I said, "I don't want school buses picking up kids on the Post Road." And, well, that's fair. She said, "Well, then where?" I said, "There's 5 acres around the corner for sale, been for sale for over 30 years. So she went, and Ed Kravitz owned it. His father owned it before him. And she made a deal with him ultimately and built a 46-unit apartment complex there, 36 of which are affordable. And she's a woman developer business, and she lives here in the town of Orange also. So that's how that project ended up there. But I have a record of trying to keep housing off of the Post Road and out of the commercial areas. But that was my biggest concern in that plan. You know, they have to put it where there is sewers available, but I don't know as we want to see our Post Road erode to that. But there are other opportunities. So with that said, I know, Mitch, you have a list of things, so I'll start with you.
Through the email I sent to the board.
Yep.
And these are my thoughts, and I'll read it so everyone knows what I'm talking about. This is the Town of Orange Plan of Conservation and Development that was put together by the Plan and Zoning Commission for us to review.
Every 10 years.
Yep, and I said, number 1, overall, I'm quite impressed with the completeness and professional look of the POCD. I do feel, however, that even though the color pictures add a new dimension to the POCD, several of the photos used do not reflect the beauty that our town possesses and should be replaced by better ones. And specifically, I called out particular pages, and Judy and I were going over it before the meeting began. I think she agrees that some of those pictures could be and should be replaced to really set forth what our town should look, what it does look like. Number 2, on page 46, there's a reference to Derby Hill Road. I believe that should be corrected to Derby Milford Road. On page 58, recommendation 6.5.2 refers to planned sidewalks on the Post Road. I'm not sure if this is still part of that plan, but even if it is, I personally do not feel that sidewalks along the Post Road be utilized and will be a burden to the property owners. And also, while I do want to see the walking paths on Orange Center Road extended, I do not think we want actual sidewalks, and question the feasibility and practicality of extending either all the way from Town Hall to Route 1 as proposed in recommendation 6.5.3. Number 4, On page 63, there's a reference to private golf courses, which include Grassy Hill and Orange Hills. I thought that those were public golf courses. Would like to also think that Racebrook Country Club would be included among the private golf courses. And number 5, on page 84, recommendation 8.4.1 says we should maintain the capacity of Orange's public water and sewer systems. I would disagree with the first part. Believe we should be exploring ways to extend Orange's public water. And number 6, and the last one I wrote down, on page 1 of Appendix A, the wrong Orangetown seal is used and should be replaced by the correct one, which appears correctly in the rest of the plan. So those are my thoughts. Last meeting, we had this on the agenda, Jim. You asked us to look at the
Yep.
plan, and we didn't have much time to look at it last time. I've looked at it, and those are my comments. I appreciate the board's indulgence.
With regards to the sidewalks on the Post Road, we've had now 3 projects of the center lane expansion, and they're supposed to be planning again. And the 2 times now that I've been involved with it, we've asked for sidewalks along the Post Road, and the state has removed them both times. They've refused it. I've requested more transit stops at some other locations also, and they have refused that. But the tide is changing on that part a little bit because of the Council of Governments, COG, has gotten involved in that. So there are a couple spots where we may get some improvements in shelter and all. It does create a problem for the property owners, however, because a lot of trash and debris is often left behind shopping carts. The one down at, it was Walgreens, and now it's another furniture store. And that one, unfortunately, is a subject of the neighborhood there. They push the Target carts across the street and from some of those, and they pile them up out there, and then Public Works has to go load them up and haul them back and all. But, so we have tried working with the state on the Post Road for that, but with no avail so far. Other than that, we're good. Anybody else? Changes, thoughts, things you picked up on there?
Well, that.
After how many years on zoning,
yeah,
ma'am?
A lot. The mixed-use concept is sort of the retail on the bottom and then the residential on top, which is what Firelight is. So when we were discussing having housing in commercial zones, it was more of that model, which is very popular and works in many communities. So I think that was, that's the genesis of putting those words in. And also, to your point, we need sewers. You can't put housing where you don't have sewers. You can't put dense housing where you don't have sewers.
Not
So,
with our soil types.
right. So, if you want to make it less, of an objective, they can certainly change the wording. And to your point on the golf courses, I think just changing it to public and mention the 3, because it does cite that they're all privately owned. So, and then they should put Racebrook in as well as a private course.
Anybody else's thoughts? It's kind of interesting watching on Facebook, there's a page, Woodbridge Watch, and they're going through a lot of turmoil right now over there because of Toll built some condos down in one street down in Route 69, but they have a lot of turmoil going over a very large apartment building, 96 units or something like that on Fountains, well, it's Ansonia Road, but it's the Fountain Street end of it, just after you come onto the Parkway there, before you get to the Country Club of Woodbridge there, and that's a very mixed battle over there in Woodbridge right now. People are resistant to it, but every town needs a little bit of a mix. We're very fortunate that Mitch first and then myself, we worked on that very hard with the zoning boards. And we did hit our goal of types of affordable housing in town so that the town of Orange achieved a 4-year moratorium on affordable housing, which initially may sound snooty, but it's not, because what it actually does is it gives the town control, and then you don't face the threat of a developer, well, you either do this or I'm applying with an 830G. So then it's up to the town, it's not up to the developer to prove why the town should have it, it's up to the town to prove why they shouldn't. So what this does is it protects you from some not always the best of developers, I guess I'll call it. There have been some out there that we have had challenges with, so that's, we worked very hard to hit that point so that the town is protected and we can control it. I mean, I just met with some developers last week who are looking at a site for an age-restricted in the vicinity of one they already own here in town, and they're an outstanding developer, property manager, and every one of their tenants loves them. Truly, I know a bunch of the tenants in the building. So, I mean, there are great ones out there as well, and they do come before us. So that's what we work on. Any other thoughts? Hearing none, we'll move on that. Ann will turn in any thoughts. You can email them to Jack if you want, or you can email them to Ann, and she will get them to Jack, either or. New business, item number 1 is to consider an act on request to conduct the 28th annual Chili Chili Run. Linda Cohen is here, as well as her able-bodied assistant, who last time he was here, he had to switch hats to his medical hat. How are you?
Hi, so I'm Linda Cohen, and I'm treasurer of the Amity Teen Center, also known as 10 Selden, and I'm co-chairing the Chili Chili Run, which would like to thank the town for letting us have it here for 28 years. So we're very excited to have it again, and
It's on, when is it?
it is
This
January.
this is your chance to sell it.
Okay, New Year's Day, it's New Year's Day every year, and it's January 1st, 2026. And we have a road race, 5K, and a walk, and a chili brunch. So it's a chili run because it's chilly out, you get a chili brunch. And we have local restaurants donate the food. And we're very excited to have it again, and we hope we have good weather. That's our major concern. And Jim, I hope you'll be our honorary chair again.
I'll be there and serving chili,
Thank
planning
you.
on it. Yep, it's a great event. You can pre-register for this event, or you can, I think they even let you register that day as well,
You
don't they?
can, yes, and we'll, it'll be online. As soon as I get approval for the race, I will go set up all the online things and notify the police, and we have the AMR provides an ambulance, and, am I leaving out anything?
No, it's a great event, and I think it's one of the longest-standing road races in this area, and they do a lot of good work there at the teen center, and look forward to having it. How's that?
That's great, thank you.
Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain, unanimous. You're all set. Item number 2 is to consider an act on the request to conduct the block party in the Muirfield Road neighborhood. They have to notify the police and Public Works. You get sawhorses to block it off during your event. You've been to this rodeo before. Just don't try to cross Woodside Drive if there's no speed humps, because that part of it might be a little challenging. So, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain, unanimous. All right. Huh? Yeah. Sure, show up.
We go.
To consider an act on request to approve tax refunds totaling $7,675.62. This is refunds and all for taxes, overpayments and all. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, who made the motion? Got you. See, you people are usually doing it to me. Mitch and PJ did
There
it?
you go.
Okay.
Ann's in control.
All right, committees, pension board, Mitchell.
No report this month.
Okay, Fred Wolf Park.
We met on June 26 at our final workshop meeting. It was well attended by the public, which is always nice to see. BL will be working on their final version, and they have indicated that we should receive something September. So we're looking forward to it. So far, they've done a wonderful job, and it's coming to life, and we're excited to show it to the town.
Okay. Any other business to come before this board? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion's made. All those in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.